I've been joined in the studio by surveyors. I'll introduce them first. The first is a member of the Governing Council of the Ghana Institution of Surveyors, Mr. Ayrebi, correct? Yes. Quality surveyor. Quantity surveyor. He's here. And also the Vice President for the Ghana Institution of Surveyors. A very good afternoon to you, sir. But we'll visit the story that we had read to you earlier on, or about the 5-story uncompleted building located around the new Achimota area, that's the Midday town to be precise, where some unspecified number of people are trapped in there. We have no idea how many there are. Some people are speculating 5, some say 4. Already 2 dead. 1 person has been rescued, and also the search continues, even though as at the time I left the location, the fire service officer, you can see the AMA boards there looking very, very, very somber, I must say, and still rescuing continue. Currently they've stand down the operations, and of course I'm sure they'll go into phase 2 and see what more they can. So you can see fire service men trying to rescue, and on your screens now you can see the gentleman who was rescued. Behind the Grand View Hotel is where the disaster occurred, actually just about 300 meters from where the Malcolm disaster occurred. So it's about 2 streets behind the Malcolm disaster of 2012. A lot of recommendations happened. A 13-member committee was set up, made up of engineers. I'm sure surveyors were there. What happened to their recommendations? I have the men in the studio to answer to that. All right. First of all, Mr. Vice President, let me ask you that when you heard this, what was your initial reaction to it?
Oh, my sister, when I heard this, it was very disheartening, very, very sad. And I've been asking myself, in this age, should these things continue to happen to us? As we advance, we are supposed to be more sophisticated in everyday life, including the buildings that we put up and live in. So it's very sad that we continue to hear news of this, leading to collapse of buildings and loss of life.
I mean, to hang on to your words, in this day and age, I mean, modern world, but when you have people who are willing to sacrifice others' safety by taking monies, there are allegations peddling around when we wrote the story that the foreman claimed to have paid about 4,000 to an AML official. When you have people like that, how can we move forward?
That is the issue. Most of the problems we have are attitudinal. People who are paid, people who are trained, people that will expect, will live up to expectations,
sure,
will rather compromise, and then the end results will be disastrous. Such people must be dealt with brutally.
Okay, so I'll come back to Mr. Emmanuel Mate, but let me speak to Mr. Kofi Obeng Ayrebi. You are a member of the Governing Council. Last two years ago, when the Malcolm disaster occurred, everyone was in awe. I mean, people were devastated. We lost about 14 people. 68 or 70 of them were rescued, and it's a lot. And to see this happening just 2 years after, what happened to the recommendations that was made?
Well, I can't tell about my sister. It's a very sad day. Like my brother said, in this day and age where we have professionals, at least, if for nothing at all, Ghana can boast of qualified professionals in the built environment. And I believe it is attitude. Some people basically
when
don't want
attitude, I won't let you. When you say attitude, what do you mean by attitude?
Some of their developers don't want to engage professionals. It's one. And designing the building alone do not and will not solve the problem, because you might get somebody to design, it will go to AMA for approval, they will look at the drawings and has been done by a competent person.
Okay,
but the question is, during construction, are those people involved? No. If the people who design are not involved, looking at the pictures, I can see that the material specification for the building visually, you can see is bad, very bad. And if competent professionals are involved in the supervision, I don't think we will come and probably sit here. People's attitude is that engaging the service of professionals are expensive.
All right.
So let me do away with them, engage some wayside or quack masons or artisans to do the work, who virtually knows nothing about the whole engineering or designing regime.
Okay, all right. Even with this building in mind, I understand it belongs to one Mr. Omari who hasn't showed up yet, but his foreman was working there every day. Even without a technical eye, without an expertise eye, from a distance you can actually see that this building need not to be there. And there were old women who were complaining constantly because they felt they had a hunch that it could cave in at any point in time. Now, since the recommendation was made that professionals should be part of every facet of the building, not just from drawing, but going to inspect, someone actually went there and authorized them, tested the ground and said that this thing is solid, it should be there. This is a professional.
Yes, I think that professional who is involved should be fished out and to be dealt with. But mind you, my sister, some people parade as professionals. They might not.
From AMA? Sure.
They might not. Who knows? Because we have professional institutions, Ghana Institution of Surveyors, Ghana Institution of Architects, Ghana Institution of Engineers. Are they members of those institutions? Because those members have something to protect. They have integrity. And if a professional from any of these institutions in the built environment is involved, in addition to whatever will happen, the law would, that will take its course, his institution will deal with him.
Okay, Mr.
Your license can be revoked and things like that. So,
Mr. Emmanuel Marte, you are the Vice President for the Ghana Institution of Engineers, right?
Yes.
And, Institution of Surveyors, yes.
That's right.
What have you, and when I say you, I mean the Institution of Surveyors, what proposals have you made to the AMA to start with, after the Malcolm disaster, and have they heeded to that? If you haven't, then you should feel a failure.
Very well. Issue about development is a complex phenomenon. We have the surveyors, the planners, the architects, everybody has a role to play. The institution, we know our role clearly, and we have had some discussions with the AMA, and I must admit that we haven't gone far with it, and that we are going to enhance our discussion with the AMA. We have no excuse, bear in mind what is happening, to be relaxed and watch another one happen. So we're going to engage the AMA.
We are going to. That's the line I don't want to hear.
Very well.
We are going to. What have you done? Because this is not the first time we're experiencing this. And who knows how many of such buildings are in the system?
Yes, I say we are going to, because clearly action in the past has not been optimum, and we need to move forward. So, but that does not mean that there hasn't been any engagement at all. We have had some engagements with the AMA. We are going to increase the collaboration. I will still use the word we are going to increase the collaboration and make sure that we will have a proper understanding with the AMA and all other professionals. There was AMA set up a network of professionals in the built environment that we participated. Our former Honorary Secretary, who eventually incidentally passed on, participated and brought us feedback about the foundation that they have laid and how to build on it. And that is why I'm also advancing the argument that we will build on that, and time is of the essence. So we are no longer going to relax. Make sure that we have...
But it's not just the aim. You have the TDC. When you go to Tema, there were various assemblies. Not only that, but how about the Ghanaian? If I want to build, you go to someone, to a surveyor. They look at the plan, they draw it for you. You get a contractor and it's done. As to whether the contractor is certified, qualified, competent, is the least of the things you think about.
No, has it been established that a competent contractor was on that project? No.
There was a foreman who was on location. We'll come back to this argument, but...
My sister, it's attitude now. So, assuming AMA, TDC are not helping us, we, the people who are deploying colossal amount in investment, can't we get people who are competent to support and help our investment?
Especially when we can't quantify life.
Yes, can't we do that?
Yes, we've lost 2 lives. Imagine you at the brink of death. You would pay any amount of money to have your life. And so we cannot quantify. Whether 1 person or 2 persons die, we shouldn't even let that happen. Now, I went on location and, the community is incensed. They are because they saw that some of them even took the opportunity to go to radio stations to tell them about it before this happened. Well, nothing was done, and so the disaster happened. That's the story.
As
you can see from the shot, there are neighbors, other houses that is close to the place. And
almost a year friends foreman because of contract a former no fire. Let's say I know Tacitasi, Sir Road Mason phone. And we say, I do where Musiwa, honestly, on yon. AME, Abeka AME, Waba have sit down, concrete, no. Over Tessie, or see where better market, Sawin, and so about 40 million bribe. Son or catch me, or so 40 million. And T or 40 million.
Mine catch us for
4 no catch me. Or see what 40 million. And T only the only Bibiaka. Miko catch the 4 man say, Omo higher and see and cassa and ne slate bakwabo. And to me, per cent answer me free Jumaba and slate never. Me free Jumaba and my better slate with you, already slate now better. Me who already better. New one. And how much me question, but me Piana, me do Liz Garden.
Tambe.
Around 5 then. No, me tea noise. Me done me one, me say put through, and me joining here. Me Johnny Fire, you are another gate, me Johnny Fire, and then me, my enemy, me. And I tell me, farm, see me a tenant to me do Hannah me tenant to suit yet, or yet they say, Yambe, you know, a show any foot through, Kunwaha, and Yabe, you know. And I miss me far, me far, me for a bar, and me catch them in any boo, and or bar out.
Story building that has caved in, and as you can see from the shot, there are neighbors, other houses that is close to the place, and so when it went down, when it caved in, some of the residents couldn't come out of their houses because the debris had blocked their windows, their doors, and so I understand a woman had to be actually pulled out of her house. We'll be talking to the woman very, very soon.
I felt it was like a thunderstorm falling down, so it was just coming with a lot of dust, so I had to wake my daughter up. When I woke her up, then I realized it was something bigger than a thunderstorm, very real. So I had to shout. When I yelled, I heard a neighbor coming in. Then he also yelled, and then he was yelling, people should come and help. So they went to find a pickers to come and break my window. And then one of them jumped through the window. They carried that girl out, and then they carried me to outside.
Hey, can you point it out to me?
From that window, they had to break the net, plus the whatever you call it, the metallic net, the mesh plus the net, in order to bring us out.
Did you see this coming? Had you complained about the way the building is being built?
Yes, we have complained a lot. We've complained. Even 3 days ago, my mother came.
And the phone, they asked where my friend is Samsung. I never chat that way. They know me. Yeah, they bribe 40 million. Now can you bribe and can they waste your nickel up system with sound? Law no say government country. Now I found. Just a neighbor once. Right now can them.
Help us to focus on the search and rescue. That's what is important now. The issue of search and rescue, and that's what we are focused on.
Rightly so, he's under a lot of pressure at the moment, especially on the heels of the Malcolm disaster. Right, the AMA boss there. Well, you could see he's under a lot of pressure, and he said the right words at the right time. Let's focus on rescuing people. I still have the surveyors in the studio. I mean, you heard the residents; they are incensed. Okay, how? I know you've said here you're going to, but how do we not? Let's say a year or two. I hope not. We come back and we sit here and we are listening to the same lines from you.
Very well. Watching this script is very sad, and you could see that even laymen, ordinary people, were concerned about the quality of construction going on. All stakeholders have no excuse. The district assemblies and the authorities must ensure it's not only testing the grounds to put out the building, but during the construction stage, periodic inspection, periodic supervision, so that whatever comes to light would be addressed. The way forward is that I will start from developers. If you are going to develop, you must understand that the cost of development is not only the brick and mortar and the wood, but it includes cost of supervision. It includes professional fees, everything that will go to make the building whole and complete. That is what the cost of development is. So builders must understand and address their mind to this, so that they would solicit the services of good contractors, good supervisors, good professionals, to make sure that they have value at the end of the project. To the district assemblies, obviously, they are the authorities that manage this process.
All right. I'd like to thank you both, member of the Governing Council of the Ghana Institution of Surveyors, Mr. Ayurebi. Thank you very much for coming to our studio. And Mr. Mate, also Vice President of the Ghana Institution of Surveyors. Now,